Hello, Space Cadets. I am Sergeant Space Panda, and welcome back to Buried, an interactive story. These are our results from the last chapter. I and 36% of players left Tony's body where you found it. I and 76% of players were upfront with Dennis about Tony's death. I and 55% of players told Dennis that I believed his story. I and 75% of players went to investigate that ringing sound. And I and 64% of players decided to bring Dennis with me. So all in all, the only thing we weren't really on the up and up with was leaving Tony's body where we found it. But at the same time, wouldn't it be rude if we didn't leave his body where we found it? I mean, after all, respect for the dead, right? It even says, respect the dead. I don't know. Let's get in. We're standing on the thin platform of what looks like a fancy subway. The rails look well used, but not old. There are small overhead lights that are very dim, as if they are running on emergency power. The dim overhead lights are a blessing, but the size of the place makes me feel vulnerable. Staring ahead, the tunnel seems to be endless. It's almost dizzying. But there's a small light further ahead, and then a space that breaks the monotony of the tunnel's curved surface. Another platform, maybe. Why are you in a subway tunnel? Or, Dennis, what do you think this is? Sorry, my audio is really loud. Let's ask Dennis what he thinks. Looks like we're waiting for the D train, Dennis says with a deadly sounding cackle. Also, the ringing noise is louder down here. There's much more solid now, and there's some other sound. Something like the faint hum of machinery. What's your take on this, boss? You think we're safe here? Dennis asks. Not at all. This is what I think to myself, but I don't want to let Dennis see that I'm rattled. While he seems to be limping along much better than when we first stumbled into this place, he's still in rough shape. I'm leading him here, and I should probably make him feel confident in that. Let's tell him it'll be fine. Boost his confidence. We're too far in to go back, I say. Besides, if we get caught for trespassing, I'm pretty sure we'd slide by. We're good. You're in pain, and we've got to find the rest of our crew. They could still be here somewhere. Dennis nods and looks reassured, albeit weak and miserable. From the looks of it, we can either go left or right. The left is slightly lit, the right not so much. This makes me uneasy. Sorry guys, I'm on mush mouth today. Because I get the sense that one wrong turn in a place like this would have us wandering for hours. Suddenly, I jerk my head to the right as I hear the unmistakable sound of someone walking. Did you hear something? I asked Dennis, my eyes straining to see anything in the darkness. Not sure, he says. Maybe it kind of sounded like footsteps. I wait a moment, but the sound doesn't come again. So, those are our options. To the left are flickering lights, indicating that we'll at least be able to see. There's also the hum of machinery, a sign of life. To the left are flickering lights. I apologize. To the right is just darkness, but we also heard footsteps in that direction. Let's go left. Let's avoid getting caught, shall we? Seems smart to stay in the light. Left it is. Continue. As we head left, the lights ahead are like a beacon in the dark, luring us forward. Someone left the lights on for us, Dennis says, trying to be funny but creeping me out instead. I wonder if that's a good or a bad thing, I say. As we near the lights, I hear the hum of machinery grow louder, but it doesn't sound like any machinery I've heard before. As the light increases, I use it to take an inventory of Dennis and his condition. While the bleeding seems to have stopped, the amount that has soaked into his pants and shirt is beyond alarming. How much farther can you walk? I ask him. Can you keep going? Yes, Dennis says. Let's walk into the deep tunnel that has no business being here. Now fully stepping into the light, I notice that the sound of machinery is coming from an area on the left side that is protected by a guardrail. Wisps of blue light dance on the wall as they leak out from whatever is below. I also notice a posted sign that says, "Danger! Severe radiation poisoning threat." Do we step closer and look, or stay back and move on? Well, I mean, severe radiation poisoning sounds bad, so let's keep on going. Dennis, I don't think we should go and get near whatever is down there, I say. Dennis studies the blue light a bit longer and then nods. He's hurting enough as it is. I don't think we need to add radiation poisoning to his list of ailments. Or mine, for that matter. We step away and take off down the tunnel again. As I start walking, I notice another structure coming into view up ahead. Continue. I hope you guys are liking the series. I hope it's creepy enough for you. As we head further into the tunnel, we reach another platform. There's light coming from the platform, but like the overhead lights, they are dim red emergency lights. I start to wonder if the explosion at the logging site caused a power outage in this place, whatever this place is. The ringing noise that I originally thought was in my head is getting louder. I'm starting to think it's some sort of alarm. When we come to the large open area ahead in the tunnel, it further resembles a subway station. As much as I try to ignore the reality, it's undeniable. We've stumbled into some sort of high-tech transportation system that is buried beneath the forests of Kentucky. It makes absolutely no sense and creates an entirely new sort of fear as to what the hell we have walked into. I notice that Dennis seems confident, though. When we reach the large opening, we have to climb over the rails and end up onto the platform. I have to help Dennis over the rails and then up the small utility ladder that is bolted to the opposite side of the travel way. When he reaches the large area resembling a subway waiting area, he collapses onto the floor and lets out a heaving breath. You know what? Dennis is exasperated. This is ridiculous. I quit. I'm not going any further. On top of worrying about my crew and the madness of wherever we are, I'm not in the mood for Dennis to act like a baby. Do we get mean with him, or do we just say it's okay, take it easy, you can do this? Get up, pull it together. Let's be patient with him. He's probably in a lot of pain. I'm not the one with the gash in my side, I think to myself, so I decide to cut him some slack. Damn, boss. I'm sorry, he says. It's okay, I say. I don't know how you're still on your feet if I'm being honest. Stubbornness, he says with a weak laugh. Need a minute to rest? I ask as warmly as I can muster. That's right, be nice. Be nice to poor Dennis. No, if I sit down to rest, I'm afraid I might not get back up. Let's keep going while I can still go. I reach down, help him to his feet, and then we get ourselves up onto the platform. Right in front of us, there's an entrance to a long hallway exiting the platform area. It's at this point that I realize those red emergency lights might be on for someone else who's actually supposed to be here. Yell out or stay quiet? Well, it's supposed to be a bad horror movie, so we might as well yell. Let's do something stupid. Let's just yell. Hello, anyone here? I ask, my voice raised to almost a shout. There's not much of an echo. My voice falls flat like a rock from the sky. I'm almost glad that I don't get an answer. Hearing anything else in this hollow silence would have given me a heart attack. The emergency lights continue to flicker overhead, casting a sick sort of pinkish light on everything. My mind is racing with what sort of place this might be. It's obvious that it's meant to be a secret. And if it is supposed to be a secret, and there was a power outage recently, maybe most everyone has been evacuated. This thought does nothing to make me feel any better as we walk toward the platform exit. We step inside, and it seems just as empty as every other place we've come through, weakly illuminated by more overhead emergency lights. We're standing inside a hallway that looks surreal for a moment. Continue. Ooh, it's getting juicy now. The plot is thickening, guys. The plot is thickening. What do you guys think it's going to be? Tell me down in the comments below. What do you guys think the whole problem is going to be? I'd like to hear your theories. The hallway reminds me of a hospital wing, but there's something not quite right about it. It's the first clean and tidy area I've seen since coming into in the woods. Oh, since I've seen coming to in the woods. It looks like it was recently in use, despite the dim emergency lights overhead. There are chairs against the wall, and the floor looks well cleaned, as do the walls. The ringing noise is definitely coming from here, and a small flashing red light along the ceiling seems to flash along with it. The ringing noise is an alarm, I say, if only to confirm my own thought. But for what? Dennis asks. And then he asks the question that has been on my mind since I found the little building in the woods. What the hell is this place? We exchange a look that speaks volumes. We reach the end of the hallway and hear a sound like a large metallic grinding. This is followed by a clicking noise, and then the unmistakable noise of a generator kicking on. Continue. Looks like we're getting power again, folks. That's all. Oh, wow, it got bright. Hello. Those are some nice chairs. Without warning, the facility jolts to life. The red glow of the emergency lights is suddenly replaced by brighter, white fluorescent ones. The mechanical hum is oddly comforting. Somehow, the power being back on urges us on. It's then that I notice the ringing noise has stopped, so it had been an alarm. But for what? Just the power failure? We head down the hallway, the electric hum of the lights sounding eerie overhead. Other than that, the place is dead quiet. The hall is about 100 feet long with 2 main doors. One door opens out into a large room that looks like a conference room with a whiteboard and paper strewn about. Across the hallway, another door looks like a laboratory of some sort. Dennis slumps against the wall in defeat and lets out a scary-sounding chuckle. Something funny? I ask as a dark and brooding panic starts to grip me. Dennis just keeps chuckling as he slides down to the floor. I'm just going to sit here while you look around, he says. There's a look in his eyes that reminds me far too much of a dead animal on the side of the road. Enter the conference room or the lab? Let's hit the lab, see what we can discover, see what we can find out. That's a tiny little laboratory. Walking inside, I see small vials and glass containers held in a clear glass case. Everything is either glass or silver, and I instantly feel like I'm dirtying the place up. I notice several test tubes and glass cases, as well as some sort of tube system that seems to have a clear fluid trapped inside of it. In the back corner, I find a laptop in screensaver mode. Let's look at the test tubes. I can't help but check out the test tubes. They're all filled with varying green and light blue fluids. One of them looks to have some sort of glowing dirt residing in the bottom of it. Another holds what looks like a grasshopper submerged in liquid, only it's the strangest grasshopper I've ever seen. At first it looks like it's expanding and contracting, like a blowfish. Then it contracts so much that it vanishes completely. As I look closer, it springs back into existence in a completely different test tube, and I'm embarrassed when I actually jump back. I see a laptop sitting on one of the workstations and wonder if it's worth checking out. What the hell is going on with that grasshopper? Let's look at the laptop. I hit the enter key and a plain green background pops up. There are several icons and folders to choose from. I click on a folder labeled Test 1.5 Ethos. A few documents are filled with formulas and names I mostly don't understand. But there are some things that were easy to understand, things that make my blood go cold. Subject 6, cause of death, embolism or aneurysm, or both. Idea for new delivery mode, spherical liquid, induced comatose state first. TerraCorco, possible plutonium supplier. I could take another look around the lab, trying to piece together what might have been taking place here. I smell some sort of chemical in the air, and it makes me think that someone has used this lab recently. Outside in the hallway, I hear Dennis grunting. I head out of the room to see him still seated on the floor. But I don't get very far because as I exit, a man comes rushing around the corner with an automatic rifle in his hand. And I do believe that is a good place to leave this episode. I know these episodes have been kind of short, and I apologize for that, but I like to leave you guys with cliffhangers in the hopes that you'll come back for the next episode, and the last episode was a finishing of the first chapter, so I want to make sure we can get more than a 5-minute chapter, so these videos might be kind of shorter so I can spread out the chapters more, but I really hope you guys are liking it. If you enjoy